Well, I have decided to do the Super Mario Brothers Super Show from 1989. Figured we'll do a shorter video today, but I've never done a TV series before. So this will be definitely different. Not really, because that was a full blown just one episode. This is actually a series. So I will be reviewing that right after this.
Where do you learn that trick? He always knows what he wants to get before anybody else.
Subscribe now and get with it.
There he goes. Mr. Nintendo.
Nintendo Power. Call now and get
Well, I hope you enjoyed those commercials. I do actually own most of these Nintendo Power magazines. I actually bought them a couple of years ago. And the only one I do not have is the first issue, and that's because it's very, very expensive. So yes, the very old ones. Yes, yes, the original Nintendo Power magazines. I buy them on eBay, and they come in nice boxes and take about a year and a half to open, which is a
anti-stores.
well the well the stores are nice. The retro stores, at least they come in just a little bit of plastic so I can take them out. But boy, if you order them on eBay, you're asking for trouble because they literally tape them up. They put them in boxes, and like I said, they take forever to open. And I think that's partially the collector's fault because if there's one little bent corner, they complain and want their money back. So the Nintendo Power Show, the Mario Brothers Super Show that I will be reviewing. This, of course, did have the DVDs are missing the live action segments. So Lou Albano and David Wells, you don't actually see them, but I do believe they are still the voice of Mario and Luigi. And David Wells, we know, was the bartender in the Jeffersons, and Captain Lou Albano should really not need an introduction. He was in some music videos with Cyndi Lauper, and of course, he was in a singer.
Oh, okay.
And he was also in Captain Lou Albano was in the WWE or WWF, however you want to say it. I believe he was a manager, and Stimpy is trying to kind of force his way to be a guest. He was not really invited. So the top TV show in 1989 was The Cosby Show, and he just wants to be pet there. So there were some other cartoons that did come out in the 80s. Ninja Turtles was one of them. The Real Ghostbusters. Garfield and Friends was another one. Beetlejuice was around this time. The show Alf even had a cartoon show. There was also Camp Candy. So there were some really enjoyable cartoons. Unfortunately, this one for me, I had to go to my grandmother's house to watch this because I did not have cable. I believe. Well, no, I just explained. This was not part of the Saturday morning cartoon lineup. So yes, I had to watch this at my grandmother's house. So that was always kind of a fun thing, and it wasn't. I didn't know when it was actually on. I believe this was actually on the Family Channel, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm already going to show the first clip because there's not really too much to get into. Of course, Mario, there's not really a story here. This is based on the Nintendo games, and you have to understand Princess Peach. Her name was Princess Toadstool at this time. Uh, and King Koopa, his name was his name was King Koopa. Then it later became Bowser in the N64 Mario Kart games. So that's when the names kind of changed a little bit. So that is the whole story there. Obviously, two
That is
plumbers.
not even a story.
It's really there really isn't a story. There were no.
Yes, there is. She gets kidnapped at 10,000 times that thing.
Okay, fine. Yes. Okay. King Koopa kidnaps the princess, or these little birdos get involved in the first episode. Um, so yeah, they're really. I'm talking about the video game. There's really no story except these plumbers just save the princess. Yes, and then little Toad has to come along and say the princess is in another castle. So I used to yell at Toad all the time. My brother, on the other hand, kind of the other way. He always kind of liked Toad. I always laughed at him in the third game because he used to panic. So now I will show the first clip. This is an episode called Bird, and obviously it's on Birdo. So I will show that clip in just a second, and this cat is just really just trying to get into my business here. So I will show that clip right after he gets away from my remote. Well, this is sort of what I wanted to show you. The music or the sound effects are still there. The music is still there from the original games. We also have, and obviously in all these episodes, the Princess Toadstool is there. Toad is there, and obviously Luigi and Mario, and King Koopa is in some type of form, causing havoc. In this, the Birdos actually kidnap Toad, and the one is actually carrying him around in the air, and he's begging her to let him go because for some reason she can't. She thinks that Toad is her missing child, little Birdo. So I will show that clip in just a second. Is it because I mocked it again? Well, so I have actually moved on to the second episode since these are only about 15 minutes long, maybe even shorter because, like I said, no live action segments. So I do have my nice little collection here. I do not have Princess Peach, so I got the next best thing. I got C3PO, nicely being eaten there by that piranha plant. But as you can see, nobody is really in a hurry to save him. So, whoopsie daisies. So, can't really help him there. And this is Mario, not Star Wars, so nobody's going to come to his rescue. So, anyway, so moving on. I've moved on to Butch the Kid since they're 15 minutes long. There is no real time commitment like some people with Ninja Turtles. So I'm going to show the next clip, and it might be surprising. King Koopa may have captured the princess. It's a rare occasion. She usually doesn't get captured, but she seems to this time. So I will show that clip in just a second.
Crux, how come your pictures are on that wanted poster?
Must be Koopa's idea. When we find where he's hiding the princess, you can ask him. You'll never see those pipsqueak plumbers again. I put prices on their heads and a posse on their tails. Your kingdom will never be free.
Well, that was sarcasm, folks. The princess gets captured in almost every episode. It's amusing every single time. I might be one of the few, but I do actually laugh every time I see stuff like this happen. So obviously Toad is probably panicking. Mario wants to save her, of course, and then it shows King Koopa just pulling on this cage, and of course it has the princess in it. So it is amusing every time King Koopa seems to capture her, and we all know the ending that something happens. King Koopa slips and falls and busts the cage open, or our fat pudgy plumber hero ends up taking a plunger to his face and then slamming him away or doing something, flushing him down a toilet. So that always ends up happening, but it's amusing anyways. So I did skip ahead to a few episodes, and the next one is called um, Love 'em or Leave 'em or something like that. It's a really ugly queen Rotunda who owns everything in the village, and since she does have the body of two aircraft carriers, her food supply is very large too. You got to see the size of these peppers. So I will show that clip in just a second.
It's my red hot pepper detector, and it's going off scale. Peppers! Mario, I'm falling over. Thanks a lot. Holy ravioli!
Well, I did laugh at this part. I like how he has a pepper detector. So he went in the fields and he picked out some really big hot peppers. Unfortunately, they belong to the queen, and they now are pretty much they are labeled as thieves. So now they get to meet this very large and in charge Queen Rotunda. So in order to get out of trouble, he says that he'll make her some jalapeno ice cream. So let's see how it goes. And I would like to apologize if we didn't have sound. So we may have had almost a Polish Pegasus experience. I'm not sure if the microphone came unhooked by accident, but that's what it was. But we figured out the problem, unlike the Polish Pegasus. So I will now show the next clip, and I promise there will be sound. And I will not hold a sign upside down either, like the Polish Pegasus did to promote my channel. So I will show that clip in just a second.
Hot pepper ice cream looks yummy. I'll just take a little bitty taste.
Well, this is Queen Rotunda here, eating some ice cream, which I'm sure she does probably every single minute she has ice cream. At least it looks like it. So this ugly gremlin decides to eat Mario's, and then of course, if you think she is annoying, watch Mike Greenberg on Get Up. She will seem like a saint. So she obviously has her high pitched voice, and then she does the off with your heads, which reminds me of the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. So that's what this kind of reminds me of a little bit. I could be wrong. So she does say the same thing. Okay, so I'm not too far off with the whole Disney Alice in Wonderland stuff. So anyways, she ends up drinking a love potion instead of water. So so now she wants Mario to. She finds now the pudgy little plumber attractive, which she calls him fat. But when's the last time she looked in a mirror? Well, she probably can't fit into her bathroom, so she has a toilet chair just like Roger Ebert. So this is the last of this episode that I'm going to show. So I went along a little bit, and now I think this one is called two. Is it two plumbers and a baby? Two plumbers and a baby. And who is the baby? We will find out.
Holy pepperoni! Careful, or I'll catch you! I've been hanging around these kids too long. Neck them, you fine squawk box, not me!
The more I am actually watching these clips, the more I'm really starting to hate on the Retro Nostalgia's review to this show. He said that this was stupid and pointless. I'm actually finding this very, very amusing, and I've seen some of these episodes more than one time. And trust me, I'm not lying. And I did actually just purchase these just a couple weeks ago. So and we're only on volume 2. We are watching them together because if I go ahead, that is cheating. So and I don't do that. So don't you worry, I haven't even watched volume 2 yet. Well, okay, fine. The first disc we did watch, but I did not skip ahead to the second. So I am actually finding these incredibly enjoyable. And I don't know why I'm getting an angry look here. I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't cheated at all. So, anyways, so the one here, the obviously the princess is the one that turned into a baby, and I wanted to show Koopa getting nutted already. So this is quick into the episode, and things are already causing problems. One, Peach has turned into a baby, so now they have to pay twice. Um, they have to pay attention to her several more times now. She gets captured enough as an adult. Imagine just her being a baby. She's now more vulnerable. So now all three of them have to babysit this very capturable Princess Toadstool. She isn't Peach yet, not even Nectarine. So, I will show the next clip here. She seems to play with some very dangerous fish, and it ends up going in Mario's direction. So I will show that in just a second.
Holy ravioli Mario! Look!
So this part was pretty cool here. So instead of the fish just going after Mario, it was the princess that was responsible for getting those pesky little fishies after Mario. Piranhas. I don't know what they're actually called in the Mario Land, but we'll call them piranhas just because it is easier to do. So she decided to just take them out of the water. Even though they had monstrous teeth, she said, "I'm just going to throw these." So she pretty much threw them down Niagara Falls. Um, well, it did look more like the Canadian side because it looked nice. So then it decided to chase Mario and Luigi. So the princess caused some more problems here. Throughout the episode, the rest of the Toad said that the princess isn't so bad. Then they look and she awoke from her nap to chase some fireflies. So yes, it did end up getting a little bit better. So I have decided to jump right to volume 2 now, and I will show you just a couple more clips, and then that'll be the end of it. I think you'll get the point. So I will show the next clip in just a second. The episode, I'm trying to remember the name. Do you remember the name? I'll find it after I'm done. So I will show you the next clip. This is the first episode on the Volume 2 disc. So I will show that in just a second.
Run, Mario!
Right, it needs more meat sauce.
Oh, yes. So it's because I'm going through all these clips, I forgot where I left off. So I had to show the little spiny turtles that come out of the cloud. I remember this was, I believe, the fourth level of the first Mario game. And it's one of the few that I think I actually did drop some swear words and got in trouble for because I did not see them coming. So I do remember the level quite well because a little cloud is up above and he's just dropping these things on you and they're little spiny turtles and you can't even stomp on them. You just pretty much sit on them and die. So so my mom did, I'm sure. So I probably got the game off for like 2 weeks or something like that. So so this was pretty much a an enjoyable. I think I did miss this part when I was watching these. So these will be my cartoon show of my choice when I work the wonderful first shift in the next couple weeks. So I will be watching this very early in the morning before I go to work. So this will be my watch. The ones that I watched already. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, so this is the
What's the name of that one?
Mario and the Red Baron Koopa. And the name of that episode was Mario and the Red Baron Koopa. So that is the clip that I'm going to show from that episode. And next we get to go underwater. It wasn't what I thought it was, but it's still pretty cool anyways. So I will show the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea one.
20,000 Koopas.
Oh, sorry. 20,000. Wow, that's a lot of Koopas. 20,000 Koopas under the sea. And though it sounds like a lot, but they will find a way to get defeated. They are like the Cleveland Browns. They will find a way to lose. So I will show that clip in just a second.
It's a submarine.
The Koopalas, to be exact, under the cruel command of Koopa Nemo.
So you're behind the attacks on Happy Harbor.
Not so good. But in the meantime, I'll make you three my galley slaves. This is awful.
I don't know which is worse. Feeling onions or knowing Happy Harbor is being wrecked.
Well, this is the final clip here. So the submarine might be confusing to those who like Mamacom, or if you're Chris Stuckman or Jeremy Johns. A submarine is a ship that goes underwater. For those who don't know, and they might think it's a Subway sandwich. So that was mostly for Jeremy Johns and Chris Stuckman. So this is the final clip I'm going to show. So then I will obviously give my little grade on this. So I did like this clip here with the 20,000 Koopas. Sorry, under the sea, since that was one of my favorite movies as a kid. The 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Haven't
Obviously,
heard of it.
that poor movie should need no introduction. But I have a feeling when I review it, it's going to because it's never really talked about too much. So moving on. So this is King Koopa sort of playing the part of Captain Nemo, and he makes them their ship slaves. So they are peeling onions, and of course the princess is making stupid comments as usual. So I will leave it at that. So now to review this cartoon, which I know that I've already seen the reviews on YouTube, and it's not exactly very popular with some of the critics. Well, I will be the oddball out, I guess they call it, or the odd man out, I guess. So I actually do enjoy this cartoon. I'm glad that I did find these pretty inexpensive for the most part, because on Tubi they like to rush these along, so I cannot find the early ones to stream. Right now, it is Super Mario World that is being streamed live, so you can watch that one. So, and I believe you do get the live action segments, from my understanding. On these DVDs, you do not. I'm not sure about all of them, but at least the first volume one and two, they're not on there. I think it has to do with licensing. So, anyways, so I did. I'm actually going to give this a different type of grade. I am going to recommend it to those who are just getting into Mario. I recommend it. I know you're going to ask questions about some of the names, but you have to understand this was 1989. They didn't have names for these characters really yet, except for Mario and Luigi. In the games, they just call her the princess. In this, they give her a name. I wish they would have just left it at princess. That would have been better than Princess Toadstool, but that's fine. So the live action segments were actually really fun. They had some good guest stars on there. They had Sergeant Slaughter as one of them. They had some other celebrities as well. And then, of course, the first two were actually decent, notable names with Captain Lou Albano and David Wells. So if I had to give this a grade, I'm actually going to give this a EW, which is a enjoyable watch. So so that is how I'm going to grade it. It's different. So I do recommend this. Obviously, kids can watch this, except the first episode, Lou Albano does drop an F bomb in it. So that, and I don't think it got edited out. So yeah, you can actually look that up on the YouTube channel to find it. But he does actually say it. So it's on there and people do know about it. So my friend actually told me about it. I watched it last year on Tubi, I believe. So
Yeah, but what kids listen to nowadays, that ain't nothing.
it probably isn't, but I'm just throwing it out there just in case there are strict parents. Even if there's one strict parent, that would help. So I do recommend watching this. Like I said, you can stream it on, I believe it's the Tubi streaming service. You can stream it on there. So comment below, subscribe if you want, and thank you for watching.